Hi everyone, Lazy Fire here. Welcome back to Hate the Player. It's a podcast about video games and other topics as we deem fit, I guess. Three Toes, who did the music that you heard right before I started talking, is here
Yay, for once.
for once. Yeah, you had your state had a pretty rough week.
Yeah, we have been kind of underwater lately.
Kinda, sorta.
It's weird. Like Charleston got it pretty bad because we're on the coast, but oddly enough, Columbia in the middle of the state was absolutely decimated.
Ugh.
Um,
Yeah.
just because I guess, well, here, like we get floods all the time whenever we have even just really strong tides. Like, there's Charleston was built at sea level, so when the tide comes up, like, and it rains, there's nowhere for the water to go, so it all just stands there. But then when the tide goes out, the water kind of goes with it. Columbia is
Yeah.
essentially a big geographic bowl, and three rivers converge right in middle of Columbia. There are several lakes. Like, it's just a really bad situation all around. I think there's still places that are somewhat underwater. I think there's still a section of I-95 that's closed.
Wow.
Like, they closed a 70-mile stretch of I-95.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah, the weird thing about living in New England is that unless it's a snowstorm or the occasional superstorm, we don't really get that kind of weather up here. Like, it can get bad. Like, we had the blizzard this winter, and it was, basically do not leave your house. And when I had to go dig my car out, it was under like several feet of snow after an hour.
Jeez.
Yeah, but like the level you're talking about is like a nightmare hurricane situation. Like if a level 5 somehow made it up here or something.
Well, they're saying like it's not even that. Like, it really wasn't directly Hurricane Joaquin or whatever the fuck the name was.
Right, it was a storm surge or something.
Well, it wasn't no, it wasn't even that either. They said that it was, and you can find there's really cool animations of it from like NOAA, that they called it like a fire hose effect. And looking at the time lapse satellite imagery, like, that's exactly what it looks like. So the hurricane came by, and another low pressure was coming from the northwest, like
Hmm.
traveling southeast, and the way they just interacted, it literally looks like that hurricane is just spraying a fire hose directly through South Carolina. It's really, really
Wow.
crazy. You got to look it up. But yeah, it wasn't really the hurricane. The hurricane didn't get that close to
Mm.
us, but just the way this other system interacted with it just doused the state. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's weather's crazy, man. Weather is insane. They should make it illegal or something. I don't know, but seems to be a problem for like everybody. But the funny thing was how your senior senator reacted.
Oh, Lindsey Graham.
Yeah,
Yeah, how he's begging for aid when, like, what was it, Hurricane Sandy? He was like morally opposed to it.
yeah. Same thing with Ted Cruz when Texas had a hurricane like last year or something like that. These guys, it's the same thing every single time. It's always no, we don't want to have. If my favorite was, I live up here, and when Sandy hit, um, Connecticut wasn't that bad off. Like, let's face it, of the states that got hit, there are areas of Connecticut, like where I live, that it didn't even matter. But then 20 minutes down the line in New London, it was like the streets were flooded. We had to house some people in our place for a couple days because they couldn't go back to theirs because the first floor of the apartment building was underwater. Like, there are some areas that just were fine, right? But like when you have a guy who wasn't up there and didn't see it going like, oh, we should just make it so every dollar of aid that goes to these guys has to be matched by a dollar in tax cuts or something stupid,
Ugh.
or like cut somewhere else. They were on, like, I can't remember what it was they were talking about cutting at the time. Um, like that sort of thing just drives me absolutely nuts. And then when it comes down to them, almost every single time, if it comes down to a state that's got Republican representation, these people are like, but we should get federal aid to clean up after this thing because it was really bad. And it never ceases to amaze me.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
So, yeah, politics rant. There's a
Yeah.
lot of politics rants to go on right now. Um, missing a debate over this. But I kind of guess that this debate, based on what they're talking about, is going to be mostly like policy statements, nothing else. Maybe Hillary Clinton saying, "Aha, emails," and that might be as far as she goes.
Well, I
Who
mean,
knows?
I don't know. Policy statements are good in my opinion, but I mean that's the bare bones of it. Like again, this is coming from a policy analyst, but
yeah.
yeah, I dig policy statements. I want to know exactly what the fuck they want to do.
Well, that's like the. Have you seen
Also, this
the
motherfucker's wearing like a real tree camo tie. It looks like.
which one? Jim Webb.
I guess I have no idea who any of these people are aside from Hillary and Bernie. No, it wasn't Jim Webb. It was some other guy. Sorry,
Loomis.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
Lincoln Chafee. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
on that
Anyway.
stage. Just everyone who's in the Democratic primary got in.
Yeah.
So that's how few people they have. Because everyone kind of knew that it was going to be a fucking nightmare to run against Hillary Clinton this time. So yeah, you were talking about keep talking and nobody explodes.
Yeah, and like This is one of the few games that comes along that makes me really really pissed that it's not on Mac. At least not yet. So you can find tons of videos on it on YouTube and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's a really neat party game, and that's the best way to describe it. It's a cooperative game. You can play with as many people as you want, I guess, but ideally two. Otherwise, it would get really really hectic. But that might make it more fun.
Yeah.
So you have two players. One person is the bomb diffuser. The other person is basically reading the instructions on how to defuse. The person defusing the bomb ideally has their own computer in front of them, and they're looking at the bomb. They can manipulate it, turn around, press buttons, cut wires, blah, 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 blah. On a separate computer, or I think you can also print them out, are the instructions on how to defuse the bomb. So, technically, you could play this in the same room as someone if you print out the instructions and just sit across from them. Don't let them see them. So it relies on the diffuser describing what they see on the bomb. At the same time, the person with the instructions has to rule out different options. So, like, okay, the diffuser says, okay, I've got this panel has 6 wires. The person with the instructions will be like, well, are any of them yellow? Yeah, 2 of them are yellow. Okay, well, are the first and third ones yellow? Or the second and fourth ones yellow? And there's all sorts of if-then statements on how to successfully defuse the bomb. And there's all kinds of different puzzles. There's one that's like Simon Says is one of the panels. There's another that has a button that says detonate or abort or press. And depending on what color it is and what it says on it, like you press it for a certain amount of time. And then, depending on what color shows up, you have to let it go when the timer reaches, has a certain digit in it. It's just a really cool cooperative puzzle game.
Yeah.
That if either party isn't, very verbose and knows how to explain what they're looking at in great detail, it can go really crazy really quickly. Case in point, you can watch. I know you're not a huge fan of either of these guys. But of course, Generic B and B00-100 have a video up of them playing it, and Generic has no problem, explaining what he sees or how to do stuff. B-Dubs, on the other hand, it's kind of just diarrhea of the mouth, and he just kind of stutters and screams.
Oh, wonderful!
So the bomb just explodes.
Yep, of course.
But yeah, it's just a really neat idea for a party game.
Yeah. No, it reminds me. Not quite. Like, this is a really poor comparison because basically the only thing that has in common is explosions and working things out. But have you ever played Two Rooms in a Boom?
I heard about it. I never played it.
Right. So it's like a party game basically. All you need are 2 rooms and about 10 people or so. And what you'll do is you'll put 2 people together, or 2 groups together. One are the terrorists, the other is like the diffusing, like the Secret Service.
Yeah.
And one person is a suicide bomber, and the other person is the president, right? So these people are unknown who they are, and through questioning and like these debates and people talking, you have to decide who to trade with the other team at the end of the round. And so this goes on for 3 rounds. You can do certain things to figure out who people are. Like, it's been a while since I played it. And then at the end of the third round, you all come out, you make your final trades, and if the president and the bomb holder are in the same room, then the terrorists win. If they aren't in the same room, then the Secret Service wins. So it reminds me of sort of like a two-player version of that in a way, like where you have to go through certain if-then statements. But this is more like with people and deception and everything.
Yeah, I played a game like that, but it had a card element to it as well. The cards didn't really come into play, but you were given like tokens or cards telling you like who you were and whatnot. I can't remember the name of it, but it had to deal with like spies or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, are you thinking of shoot, I play it all the fucking time. There's an expansion called Avalon.
Is it Rogue something?
There's one you have to like you get missions.
Yeah, you put the missions together. You have to get guns for it, and then,
you give the guns to certain people who you want to take on the mission.
Yeah,
shit, I play that game like
and
we
like
play it every
somebody
like,
can
3 weeks,
and you vote on if you go through the mission or not, and people can veto it. Yeah,
God damn
I
it.
can't remember the name of it.
I play it every fucking other month. Like at least every time we go to the game night, at least like every third game night, someone's like, "Let's play this game," and I'm like, "Yeah," and it's like, "Great, this is awesome. It's really fun, and you play it real fast, and it's really good." And it's like, fuck, it is actually a really fun game. That's actually, you're right. That's actually a closer, like sort of thing where you have to kind of figure out what's going on, and everyone's trying to deceive each other, but. Yeah, I don't think anything directly compares to it. I'm just trying to come up with good comparisons for that because like there's like an aspect of it that is almost like Artemis, the game that's basically a Star Trek Commander thing where you have a bunch of people and you're supposed to be in a room trying to like work together to get your ship from one area to the next and accomplish goals. Like I like those kind of games. Those are kind of neat, like where you can. They're not, they're not strictly video games in a way,
right. I kind of have to be in the right mood for them, though.
Yeah,
like, sometimes I'm just not into it.
It's almost like a Pictionary sort of thing, where like it's definitely like meant to be one of those old school party games where it doesn't take much. You could turn that into a board game really easily. Like, imagine if you just took, like, random bomb pieces, and you just pull them together into a bomb, and then you could go through your list of things that could happen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of lose some of the flashing lights and and even it's not even just the panels. Like, depending on like the serial number of the bomb, how many batteries it has attached to it. Like, is there a little like this color light on this side of it, or is it on that side? It's like,
oh wow,
they put a lot of thought into it, and it only gets more complicated as you go. Like, you start with just, I think, 3 panels, and they're pretty simple. Most of them just button based, and then there's space for 11 panels, I think, because one panel always has to have the countdown timer on it.
Yeah.
And you get strikes. Like if you screw up, you get a strike, and the timer starts going faster.
Oh,
like slightly faster.
That's kind of neat. Yeah. Like, I've heard a lot about the game, but I haven't heard how it all works. Oh, and the game we're thinking of is Resistance.
That's it, Resistance.
Yeah. That's a good game. If you have friends, which I'm sure somebody who listens to this does.
Not us.
Yeah. Nope. But if you do, that is a good game to play with friends. Yeah, like that's a really neat idea for a game. And the more kind of card games you can have where it's just one person or a couple people trying to get another person to do certain actions or describe certain things is actually kind of neat.
Yeah.
I really like that idea. It's too bad, like, the market for those sorts of things, I feel like, is always going to be kind of small because it does require a degree of communication between the people playing it, And if you're playing this on a computer, it might not always be like to the point where you can get somebody who's going to communicate. Like if you wanted to do matchmaking with that sort of thing, it's kind of limited. So
Yeah.
instead, you need at least one person with the game and another person with the list of instructions. And I'm sure after a time, the person who's just reading the instructions is going to be like, "Please let me just like handle the bomb for once."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, ideally, I think you take turns.
mm,
If you're both playing online, I don't know. I honestly don't know how it actually works because I don't have a PC that can run it.
mm,
So I don't know if you actually connect with someone online to play. Like, yeah, it may have like the online multiplayer component and as well as like an offline if you want to print out the instructions.
yeah,
But
that
I do
seems.
think you take turns
Mm,
in terms of who's the diffuser and who's holding the instructions. Um, and I mean it's I think right now on Steam it's like $13.
ooh,
So I mean it's just a little party game that it's not like it's gonna have. I mean they may do expansions. They may like come up with new panels because at some point somebody's gonna be anal retentive enough to memorize every single scenario and like when to cut what wire depending on what's
yeah,
showing. Like
yeah, yeah,
I guarantee within like 2 or 3 weeks, start searching YouTube for like "Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes" solo, and somebody's
yeah.
gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm so good. I've got all this stuff memorized now. I'm gonna try and attempt to diffuse it solo just by looking at it and knowing the patterns and what to push and when."
Oh yeah, I guarantee you that'll happen. It needs to because that's how the internet works. Is
Yeah,
somebody's going to get so obsessed with this thing and proving that they're the best with it
that or
that they'll
speed
just
runs and
oh yeah they'll just suck the fun right out of it. That is the job of the internet is to take the fun out of any and everything.
I mean, it would be. I don't know. It would be kind of impressive to watch once, watching
Mm,
someone solo attempt it, but just to know that it's not really a skill they have other than just a spurgy level of memorization.
right. Yeah. I just
And
yeah.
apparently, I'm just reading this. I forgot about it. It's completely compatible with Oculus Rift.
Oh my God, Oculus
So
Rift.
if you want to sit there and actually look at the bomb and feel like you're actually in the room diffusing it, you can.
Mm,
And the first time it explodes, it's pretty startling.
yeah, it
Like
just goes off.
the explosion just comes. It's really loud too. The explosion just comes out of nowhere.
Huh. That's kind of neat. Yeah, you mentioned Oculus Rift. I am fucking done hearing about fucking VR support in games.
So not games related, but I can't remember where I first saw it. But if you look up um, FPV drone racing,
Mm. Oh,
first person view
person
drone
view.
racing,
Yeah.
it's pretty badass. To where people have these like basically miniature. I think the brand who makes them the primary brand is called Fat Shark.
Hmm.
To where they make these little goggles that completely envelop your eyes, and you have a camera with a transmitter on your drone, and these guys just get together and race them in like first person view.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
It's crazy. Like I would get such vertigo the first time doing it, but it's pretty neat.
Mm.
One guy says like, yeah, the first time you do it, it's basically like the trench run in Star Wars.
That's a pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty close assumption, I think.
It's like I think I just found what my next money sink hobby is going to be.
Yeah, there you go. I just, oh man, it's ugh. It's one of those things when you start seeing people throw out their the like VR support. It's the wave of the future in PC gaming. And it's like there are way cooler things you can do with like a eye visor thing, like the drone racing. That's actually kind of neat. Or you could like have a like F1 race or something like that with a camera on the front, and you could actually turn to that channel and watch it. That'd be
Yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah,
However, video gaming with an Oculus Rift seems like a really bad fucking idea.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it just right now it just doesn't seem fun. It seems like more
yeah,
of a hassle.
let me explain to you the denizens of the PC gaming subreddit. and how they are excited for only two things in the coming year:
Uh,
Star Citizen
ugh.
and fucking VR, which has made me hate both more than I already did. Like VR, I swear, I promise you now, in like 5 years, we'll be looking at it as if it were a fad similar to like 3D TVs.
Yeah.
Like some games are going to support it just because they can, and there's going to be stuff that does, you're going to do things with it, and everyone's going to be like, ah, it's kind of neat. And then, like, 10 years from now, you're going to be looking at this $1,000 piece of fucking junk on your shelf going, why the fuck did I even buy that?
I
That
mean,
doesn't
at
make any
least with a
sense.
3D TV, it still functions as a regular TV.
Yeah, you can at least use that 3D TV you
Yeah.
bought for way too much money. That's okay. Um, it's the Oculus Rift has so many issues to me. One of them being cost, of course. The second being how processor intensive it is.
Mm,
Um, like the Morpheus glasses that Sony's coming out with, they said basically directly that to get those to work, they can't really run them on the PS4 at this juncture. Um, but like, you're gonna get a better experience with a lot of games because people are like, "Oh, Track IR plus Oculus Rift equals whatever." It's like you're probably gonna get a better experience with just a better TV. It'll be cheaper. It'll be much easier to use,
yeah.
and you won't get vertigo.
And, like, if you've got people there with you, they can also see what's going on.
Right. And it's just like I can see maybe if you're space conscious and you're like, well, if I just put this thing on my face, it's like having a TV there and I can use my computer with it. But if you're not space conscious and you're just like, I have enough space for even like a small monitor, you're probably better off with the monitor. Because from what I understand, there are some issues with when you have the rift on your face. Like not just like the weight issues, I guess they've kind of figured out, but the if you get when you get that close to something like that, you get this sort of screen door effect on the visuals. Like
Hmm.
this, you're so close to the screen that you can kind of see the
Oh,
black,
yeah.
yeah, and so it's like, oh, okay. But the guys, the engineers behind it seem pretty enthused, and John Carmack's with the company, and Facebook threw a bunch of money at it for no good reason. So it's not like they're running out of cash to fix all the problems. Though I
Right.
have to say that the people who fucking freaked out over Facebook basically buying Oculus, fucking that was awesome. Um, because yeah, Facebook buying Oculus and people were like, well, we backed it, so we invested in the company first. Why does Facebook get to? No, you didn't invest in anything. You gave these guys money to develop a thing you wanted.
Yeah.
Like that's not investing. That's a grant. I don't know what
That's
you
a good
want.
point.
It's like you didn't patent anything. You didn't get part of their profits. You didn't get stock in their company. You gave them money to do this thing.
Yeah.
Like they don't owe you shit beyond your backer rewards, son.
Nope.
Nope. People just don't get that for some
And
reason.
and not to divert too much, but speaking of system intensive, so I think if everything looks good, and I don't know if you've had a chance to play it yet, but I think I might have finally found something that'll get me to build a PC. Um, Star Wars Battlefront actually looks kind of fun.
Okay, I played the beta.
How is it?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Really?
Arnold, if he were here, he could tell you more about it.
Why does it keep letting me down like that?
Like, all right, so I played Walker Assault and I played the pod drop thingy. That's
Yeah.
so like of the game modes that are in that game, there are maybe two that are all 48 on 48 players.
Hmm.
Or not, sorry, it's 48 players total, so 24 on 24, which is the highest player count in the game, right? So here's the list of problems I have with it on the PC. One, there's a party system. Doesn't fucking work. Like, you can sit there and spam invites to people, and they can't join your party. Your party can be up to 8 people. However, there's no VoIP in the game. Like, you have to go and use a third party software to do it. Same thing on the consoles, by the way. You can't talk to anyone on your team but the people in your party. And by party, I mean like the console party system. That's what they're using for communication and partying up and such.
Uh,
There's no server browser to the game. So you basically have to hope for what skill-based matchmaking will provide you with, which I would not suggest, bothering with. Um, Then you get into the game itself, and there are literally moments where you will spawn in behind people, and when people will spawn in behind you on these large maps.
There's no set like spawn points.
Oh, there are. It's just that the spawning algorithm is like worse than the worst Call of Duty spawning algorithm. Like I've had it where stormtroopers got behind this hill I was on as a rebel, and I spawned there 3 times in a row, getting gunned down almost immediately. There's a degree of spawn protection, but it doesn't protect you 100%. It protects you like 90%, so you can still take some significant damage before you can return fire. Um, Now, outside of that, I will say this: I had a lot of fun when it actually worked. Like when the spawns didn't suck, and some of the party stuff wasn't in the way. It was actually a really fun game.
I mean, it
Um,
looks like it. All the footage I've seen looks like really fun. So it kind of like got my hopes up.
yeah,
And watching Luke Skywalker get crushed by an AT-AT.
or Vader get hit by an X-wing.
Yeah, I actually
That's
didn't get to see that one yet.
Yeah, that was actually pretty funny. Like an X-wing just slammed straight into him. So like I'm on the fence on this thing because I have a 25% off gift card, whatever the fuck. Green Man Gaming does like all these sales for games that aren't out yet, and I currently have 25% off that game as part of that. And I already canceled one pre-order for this thing when they announced that there was going to be not going to be any sort of server browser because I was like, that's it, fuck this. Um, and then I played the beta, and after like the first hour, I was like, I could actually see myself playing this. And then I got into a game without friends, and that was where it was just like,
Well,
okay,
really though,
fuck this thing.
that's any multiplayer game nowadays.
Yeah, I know. I've jumped into Battlefield games where I'm just like, I don't really want to play this without other people here to make this fun. Um, but like the Battlefield PC goons, a few of them have already said they're going to pick it up. So like the pressure's on now.
So when's the release date?
Oh,
And
next
like
month. Next month.
next
sometime.
month, how old is the beta build?
Beta build. We don't quite know. They only announced the beta like 3 weeks before they launched it. But I think they said the game's going to go gold in like a week. So what they fix is probably going to be day one patch stuff. Um,
Well, again, that's par for the course.
yeah, I just wish they would stop with that.
Oh, I do
So
too, but
I wish they would, when they do these betas, I wish they were far enough out so people could actually provide input. Like, that would be fantastic if they could just do that once.
yeah.
Like, that would actually matter. Because DICE, because they release on consoles mostly, they still have to go through that certification. Like, this game was built for the PS4. Like, ground up built for PS4. Your PC is getting a port,
Really,
right?
I did not realize that.
Yeah. And it shows. It shows in a lot of ways. Like, the graphics, they look really nice. They do. But they're also kind of simplistic on certain things. Like the stormtrooper, snowtrooper shapes and stuff like that, and some of the environmental effects are kind of toned down from what they could be. Like, there's some really nice stuff, but at the same time, you're like, they're reusing animations and like all this other crap. But it looks nice, but it plays very much like a console shooter. Like, people have a really high time to die, and
What do you mean?
time to kill is pretty high. So that means that when you start shooting at a guy, he is going to not take as much damage as you maybe think he should from getting hit with hot plasma. Um,
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I kind of like watching footage. I kind of felt it looked a little like Halo in that regard.
a little bit, yeah. No one's got shields, but the health
Right,
regen
but
is
yeah.
you seriously go from whatever health you have to 100. You do not. There is no regenerating health. It is just regenerated.
Oh
Like,
wow.
yeah, it's almost instant. I think you can get shot and get it paused wherever you were, but it goes up so fast it may as well be instant.
Uh,
But
it's
you can,
just too bad because like it seems like every time there's a new Star Wars game, they get a little bit closer to having an actually good Star Wars game, but then
yeah.
something comes along and fucks it up.
I think this has the potential to be good overall. I feel like it could be nice. Like, we only got 2 game modes on 2 maps, Okay,
Right.
and by two game modes on two maps, I mean there were literally two maps and two game modes, one tied to each. So one map was Walker
Uh,
Assault on Hoth. The other map was Zulist with Pod Drop or whatever. The
right.
Pod Drop, the smaller game mode, which is like an 8-on-8 game mode or something like that, was actually really fun and kind of like I don't want to say it was Counter Strikey, but like you have to go to a point and you hold on to the point, so it was closer to like King of the Hill game mode, right?
Or like headquarters in Black
Yeah,
Ops.
yeah, pretty much. And once you've held the point for a certain time, you have to just defend it from the other guys, and they throw grenades at you, and they jump over you with their jetpacks and all this other stuff. Like you're trying to gun them down, they're trying to gun you down. One fun thing about the game: the sniper rifle in the game is a what they call card. So you have these three cards, right? Your loadout, and they're basically your one, two, three keys. Um, so the first one you get is this caster gun, which is a straight up like bullet sniper rifle.
Hmm.
And so you always and that thing can take out ATSTs. Like it takes a few shots, but like the on the Walker Assault the Imperials get ATSTs and they'll come at you and it's like ATST up and you just fire your fucking sniper rifle at it until it dies. You're like, this is awesome. I killed probably more ATSTs than people. Um,
Wow.
but it's actually kind of fun weapon. There's not really a lot of drop, but you do have to lead people on it. Um, and it's on a cooldown. It's not like it's a magazine fed sniper rifle. It's like you hit one, you fire your shot, and then like 12 seconds later you can shoot again. Like so it's not like we're with other games where you're just like I am a sniper, I am on this hill forever. Because your like standard blaster, it's got some lead to it too. So you're not really able to snipe people with your standard guns. You're gonna have to get pretty close
Hmm.
to them to do it. Um, but the second thing is like this ion charge, which does double damage to vehicles, I think. And the third thing you get is kind of interchangeable. You can have normally you get a thermal detonator, so your grenade. But
Right.
you can also have a jump pack, which allows you to like do
Yeah,
a
I've
short
seen
hop.
that. Yeah.
You can have a personal shield, which if you fire
Yep.
somebody with the ion blaster, when they're in the personal shield, it'll go right through it. And then there's all these battlefield pickups that can get assigned to the 4 slot, like thermal detonator or like thermal imploders is one of them, just basically a bigger thermal detonator. And then like personal turrets you can drop down, and like auto turrets and rocket launchers and stuff like that. They're scattered all over the map.
Huh.
So it's not like here's the thing. It is not Battlefront 2. Like just I'm going to throw that out there. But Battlefront 2 when you play it today, not that great a game. Like just going to throw that out there. If you
All
go
right.
into Battlefront 2 right now and you start playing it because you can't play it online anymore because they took all the servers down because of GameSpy. Um, if you go and
Game
play,
Spy.
yeah, they use the GameSpy server system. But if you go in there and play it now, it's just like here are a series of really simplistic maps and platforms. Go from one area to the next. Maybe there's like some sort of thing in between these two. There's not a lot to those maps, and it's just kind of mindless, and you shoot people in the head and you get things and whatever. This is a bit more intense. Like you're even with even with the smaller player count and the size of the Hoth map is it's not small. It plays more like that the Walker Assault mode plays almost like Rush, by the way, where
Huh.
you have these 2 points. The Empire has to take them from the rebels, and the rebels have to keep them active. So when the walkers get there, the Y wings drop bombs on the walkers, and then
Uh,
when the Y wings drop bombs on the walkers, the rebels can shoot at the walkers with their small arms and do damage to the walkers. Otherwise, they're always shielded. Um, and so you go through like 5 sets of this, and theoretically, the rebels are able to take out the walkers by the end of it, or the walkers will shoot down the rebel base. But with what you have, and this is where one of the problems comes in, what they gave you in the beta, because it only went to level 5 in terms of like progression, it's not really enough to deal with the walkers consistently. Like you don't have any rocket launchers. You don't really have any high damage weapons that will do a lot to the walkers at all. So you're kind of just like hoping and praying that like everyone on your team starts shooting these things as soon as they can. And if there aren't, then you're kind of screwed. But the problem is when you start shooting at the walkers, the stormtroopers can just like come in and fuck you up because you're all facing these giant fuck all walkers that have turrets on them that are shooting at you. You're like, it kind of makes you easy pickings at that time. But it's not a mode where it's like ticketed or anything like that. So it's not like you're losing tickets or anything. You're just dying. So it's a little bit less pressure, and you don't have like the long respawn timer like in Battlefield 4 or 3. You basically spawn in instantly as soon as you die. Let me think. Yeah, there's not like the beta. Like I said, it's only 5 levels. So there's a level unlock system, and then cash has to be spent to unlock stuff. So it's got the Black Ops 2 sort of system of unlocks, which I think is kind of dumb. I really hate that double system. It's really stupid. I think you should either be a level system or be a cash system. I don't care which. Like, if you want to have me have to use one weapon enough to unlock the next one, that's fine by me too. If I have to pay cash for it, whatever. There's no microtransactions apparently, so you're not paying any real world cash to get in-game cash to buy stuff. It's all in-game currency you get from experience within the game, and you get enough pretty quickly to buy stuff with not too much issue. There's no battle log to it. It's just like straight up join game. That's like all you get. So, but I honestly, like, I'm torn with the 25% off code I have right now. There is a part of me that is like, fuck it, I am gonna go and just pre-order this game. It's not gonna cost me a lot of money, and like, if I couldn't afford $60, I have a bigger problem in my life, anyways. But there's a part of me that's like, the some of the stuff they did, like the way they rolled out certain things, like instead of saying, well, we might work on a server browser in the future for people who want that, they just said, well, we want everyone to play on a level playing field, so we instituted skill-based matchmaking. Because we know that always fucking works. And just like, I don't think there's ever been a system of skill-based matchmaking that can conquer a really good set of people. Like, there's no such thing. I guess they're just trying to cut down on admin abuse or something like that, but it seems weird to me that they'd cut off a revenue stream like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they made money off people ordering servers for Battlefield 4 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. Yeah. So it's a very bizarre thing, but I wonder if that it has to do with the deal that they made with Disney for what percentage of the profits they had to send over to Disney for part of this thing. Because they paid money for the licensing rights, but they also have to pay royalties to Disney, I believe. So if they don't make money off the periphery on this thing, maybe they don't have to send as much, or I don't know. I really don't know. Of course, they announced a season pass today. It's $50, just like every fucking season pass that's ever existed. But PC gamer types have fucking freaked out about this thing. How dare they charge $50? Blah 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 blah. It's a $50 season pass. It's been this way for 5 years. Get the fuck over it.
Like, what all's supposed to be included?
More maps, more weapons, more Jedi to play as, vehicles, and so on. Vehicles in that game, by the way, you don't like spawn in a vehicle or anything like that. You go and pick it up on the field.
See,
like
sometimes I like that better. Sometimes I don't.
Yeah, it seems to work pretty well here. Like, you just go and run and grab like an X-Wing or something like that, or get into the ATST or whatever it might be. It's not like people running to the vehicle to try to steal it from you or anything like that. So it adds a little bit there. But I don't know. There's a lot of game modes. They seem to be focusing on smaller team game modes in this over the large battles. But there still should be games like Walker Assault, and I think there's a classic Conquest sort of thing too. With more maps, I think they're going to launch with 8 or 10, and not all maps are able to play all game modes. So, yeah. See, I'm hoping you'll build a PC one day, so like we can play games and talk about them, like with you and me and Arnold, like old times. But Like there's certain things that just like I don't. If this is the reason you're going to build a PC, I don't super recommend it. Um, I think maybe wait and see what Far Cry Primal looks like, and decide then, or look
Yeah,
at what else is available that you might want to have played on PC.
yeah. I mean, nothing right now, but
Metal Gear Solid
again,
5.
so I can attach balloons to animals.
Listen, if that's not what your thing
No,
is,
dude, that's hilarious. I loved it.
that's punching people out and sending animals into space. This is my two favorite things. Actually, I played a lot more of that this weekend because I had a long weekend. And I have to say, like, one of the more satisfying things to do in that game at this point is to go into, like, an enemy outpost. Doesn't even have to be, like, a major base, but, like, an outpost where there's a few people, and slowly and methodically go through and knock out people or put them on the ground or capture them or whatever it is, and just, like, take all their shit and then walk away. Like it's oddly satisfying because you plan this thing out and you like crawl around to get into the perfect position to start this, and then you go in and like you slowly work your way through, and then some jackass that you hadn't seen in the hour you were scoping this place out walks out from behind a tent. And you're just like, who the fuck is this asshole? And he spots you and he screws your entire day up, and then you have to gun your way out. And it's like it gives you so many ways to kind of like play and adapt to it. It's kind of great. Um, so I played that, and I played more. For whatever reason, I played Borderlands 2 this weekend too, because I like got into this thing where I was watching people play Destiny, and I was like, that game does not seem like it's a lot of fun. Because I don't know if you've seen Destiny footage, like
Uh,
of one of the high level raids in the game.
nah, like I haven't really paid attention to Destiny since like it first came out.
Yeah, so in the high level raids in that game, you have to have like you have to know exactly what's coming up, and you have to plan out strategies for it, and there's methods for dealing with bosses, and like certain locations that you have to stare down so you can shoot guys who spawn in, and like all this shit, and you're like, that's super interesting, I guess, but why does it take 20 minutes to explain it and 5 minutes to do it? Like,
Mm,
because you have to explain it for six people, and like, okay, you will stand here, you will stand here, you will stand here, you will stand here. This is what's going to happen in your screen, your screen, your screen. Like, go through the whole thing, and then like they do it in the first two tries or something like that. Like, holy shit, holy shit! It took longer to explain than to do. What the
jeez.
fuck? Um, but I guess that's kind of the point of high level people playing the game. Uh, so yeah, I I don't know why people are super hoping for Destiny to come to PC. I guess it's like it's a loot driven game, and I think that goes really well on PC and hasn't done super great on consoles in the past. But Diablo 3 doing well on consoles kind of helped that, I think. But who knows? Who knows? That's why I was
Yeah.
playing Borderlands. I wanted to grab like loot and shit and shoot things.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I shot a lot of things. Borderlands 2 still a solid game, even if the humor's kind of dumb and dated now,
Yeah,
filled with memes and shit.
yeah.
Um, I also played this other game. I think you'd really like it. It's called Skyhill.
Hmm.
It's a roguelike, or it's a crafting survival roguelike. Oh, I
Oh
know.
God,
I know.
those are
So,
still a thing.
yeah, yeah. The game's premise is pretty thin. What happens is you check into the Skyhill Hotel. You're on the top floor, floor 100, and then some sort of biological disaster happens, and you hole up in your hotel room for a few weeks, and then you run out of food and water, and so you have to travel down through the hotel to get to the first floor and hopefully to freedom. But in the preceding weeks, while you were holed up in the room, the world's gone to shit, and the residents of the hotel have turned into monsters. So it's a 2D kind of game. You can go up and down stairs, and you can go left and right on each floor.
Hmm.
And in each room, or maybe not in each room, but in each room there's potential for either enemy fights, looting things, nothing, or all three. Sometimes that happens somehow. But you'll like so every floor you lose a point or okay. So you have two things. You have health and hunger. every floor or every room you go into or exit out of, you lose a point of hunger. And if you go to 0 points of hunger, then you'll lose 2 points of health for each room you enter or leave. And if you don't have food, it just makes more sense to just keep going downstairs. You can return to your top floor at any time to like craft weapons and items and stuff like that. But the fastest way up there is through an elevator. But like most of the elevators are broken, and so you have to keep each elevator panel that you come across that's broken repaired, and then you can use whatever elevator that you've gotten to the furthest to get up and down to the top floor. There's a bunch of other mechanics to it, but it's actually kind of neat. Like the fighting is semi-turn based stuff. You can switch over to a VATS like system to attack specific areas on enemies' bodies. One of the things though is that if you do not get a weapon in like the first or second room you walk into, and then you encounter an enemy, you are fucked. Because fighting barehanded in that game is basically a death sentence. You start at 100 health, and you will lose up to 50 points of health fighting barehanded in your first encounter.
Jeez.
But there's like a ton of different monsters. I've gotten down to like the 70th, 68th floor, maybe, is my farthest run. And each time you don't really gain anything each time, but you get the potential to earn new perks and abilities. And you select a perk and an ability each at the start of each game. And you kind of live with those things. It's really fun. It's kind of interesting.
I'll look into it.
It's one of those things that, like, if I want to play a game for a little bit and I don't really feel like getting into Metal Gear or Borderlands at this point, I'll just throw that on for like 20 minutes or something like that and just be on my way after that. Like it's sort of like Binding of Isaac like that, where you can just pick it up and play it for a few minutes or one round or whatever it is, and kind of head out. So that's how I look at it, anyways.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Star Wars. The more I talk about it, though, here's the problem. The more I talk about it, and I go and I'm going to check with some people in the next couple days, and if they're like, yeah, I'm totally going to pick up Battlefront, I'm probably going to pick it up too.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's worth building a system over.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of depends on my disposable income in the next few months.
Disposable income's awesome.
Yeah.
I can tell you some ways to make more disposable income. They're all work from home. So you're right, we should wrap this up in a few minutes. I do want to leave you with a funny story.
All right.
That you may appreciate and some other people have already. So I work for a company that makes submarines, and the Illinois, which is the home state of the Obamas, was launching, and Michelle Obama is the sponsor for that ship, so she was going to be in town for a christening. I was supposed to go to this christening. Some stuff happened with the ticket lottery through the company that has pissed me off to no end, and so I don't really want to get into that, but I didn't get to go to it. And then my boss stopped by my desk Thursday, and the christening was Saturday, and he's like, "Hey, so you're going to the christening?" I said, "No, not really." He goes, "Well, would you want to come in and work on Saturday then, overtime?" And I'm like, usually, yeah, sure, I'll come in and work on Saturday. But I said, with the christening, aren't, there going to be Secret Service people all over this place and the building probably shut down? He goes, probably. Let me go find out. And he goes and, checks with his boss, and he calls me up and he says, yeah, don't come in on Saturday. I don't think you'll be able to get into the building, at all. And I'm well, that's good to know. Hang up the phone, and I just, I turn to the guy next to me and I go, no overtime? Thanks, Obama. And he started laughing.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, son of a bitch. So I was just super happy I got to use the words thanks, Obama in a context that made sense. Because I kind of didn't want to come in on Saturday. So, yes, that is my thanks, Obama story.
Well, at least it was actually, relevant.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But I think that is all the time we have, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll get into the thrilling, the thrilling tales of the new Lego game next time.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. Bye, everyone.
It's the next Poly Bridge.
Poly Bridge, of course. Build a bridge of Legos.
Roll
Tide?
Roll Tide.
Yeah, Roll Tide.